Hello ladies and gentlemen! IO Interactive has always been very creative in regards to coming up with memorable mission names in Hitman franchise. In today's episode we will go through the entire Hitman series and look for references the developers have made for each particular mission. Without further ado, welcome to the third episode of Hitman Insight. Before we go, I'd like to say that further information is not entirely my research, but a work of dedicated fans and other people. As I said previously, IO Interactive has always been very creative in naming missions in Hitman. The developers don't necessarily reference something very specific, but rather use a game of words and interesting ways of understanding the phrases. So I think an explanation, especially for non-native speakers, might give you a little more insight. Starting from Codename 47, the game consists of 20 missions and only one of them has a special reference in its name. Other 19 are basically named after what you are supposed to do or what this mission task is about. Mission number 8, however, is named Say Hello to My Little Friend, which references famous flick from 1983, Scarface. In one of the scenes, the protagonist confronts a number of enemies, starting the shootout with this legendary line. Say hello to my little friend! Hitman 2 Silent Assassin consists of 21 missions, and the majority of them are also named directly after the events which Mr. 47 will participate in. However, some of them do have interesting names. The first proper mission in Silent Assassin takes place in Sicily. The mission is called Anathema. Anathema is a religious term which can be used in our routine life if we mean to hate or dislike something in a very strong manner. However, in context of religion, anathema is a formal excommunication from the religious group for constant or conscious misbehavior or abnegation of postulates. In Silent Assassin, the mission name refers to either the mafia bosses who kidnapped Father Vittoria, or most likely it refers to Agent 47, who stepped on the path of revenge and ended his church life once and for all. The next mission, which might confuse some people, is called Graveyard Shift. Its name has nothing to do with graveyards, of course. It's a phrase which is used to define a shift which generally happens at night. In case of Silent Assassin, it's a night shift in the business center. The mission Tunnel Rat references interesting historical events. The Tunnel Rats were American and Australian infantry soldiers whose main objective was to carry out underground search and destroy missions during Vietnam War. The Viet Cong guerrillas were infamous for building complex systems of tunnels in which they hid themselves and their weapons when they happened to be under attack. These tunnels were extremely dangerous, with a great amount of booby traps and enemies lying in wait. The next mission, which has an entertaining meaning, is Terminal Hospitality. The mission name comes from the definition terminal illness. These are incurable diseases which some people have. In this regard, there are a numerous amount of hospitals which take care of these people. In Silent Assassin, it's used as a game of words, where terminal hospitality basically means a deadly welcome. The next stop would have been Hitman Contracts, but all of the missions in the game share basic explanation of occurring events, with some obvious metaphorical additions, so I won't spend too much time on it.
I'm sorry.
The next installment in Hitman franchise is Hitman Blood Money. In my opinion, in Blood Money, IO Interactive went all poetic at making up mission names, which is another reason why this game is so enjoyable. You can see the amount of dedication and genuine love the developers put in their work. Death of a Showman is the first mission in Blood Money. Its name references playwright Arthur Miller's play, Death of a Salesman, which was published in 1949, but it only references the play name-wise. The next mission in Blood Money is called Vintage Year, and it basically describes official business of your targets, the Delgado family. The cartel is known for having a vineyard which they hold in Chile, so the mission name references vintage wine. In terminology of alcohol industry, it is a type of wine which is produced with ingredients collected within the same year. For casual customers, vintage wine can simply mean a bottle of wine with the year of production written on it. After Chile, Agent 47 visits Paris, where the mission Curtains Down takes place. Curtains Down idiom can be used in our lives in two meanings. It can literally mean ending of a stage play in theater or opera, or it can also be used as a metaphor as to end or finish something. In Blood Money, not only the mission takes place in Paris Opera, but also it's possible to say that Agent 47 brought the curtains down on the criminal life of Alvaro Delvada and Richard de la Hunt. The next stop for our bold protagonist was a mission called Flatline. Flatline is a state on the computer monitor which describes the absence of brain or heart activity. In case of Blood Money, we save Agent Smith using special serum, which provokes flatline condition. Now, the murder of crows is an interesting game of words. Basically, a murder of crows is a collective noun of numerous crows flying around. So, as an example, we can say a pack of wolves, a flock of sheep, or a murder of crows. In Blood Money, Agent 47 can take this reference quite literally. The mission You Better Watch Out takes place in a large mountainous area in the USA, sometime before Christmas, and on this matter the name of the mission references a song from 1934 called Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which has these lines in the song.
You better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why, Santa Claus is coming to town.
Death on the Mississippi references one of the fiction novels by Agatha Christie called Death on the Nile, written in 1937, where the main protagonist was famous and intelligent investigator Hercule Poirot.
No. Pardon my impertinence, madame, but I suspect you are feeling a little guilty.
The next mission in Blood Money takes place in the same American state and features a wedding ceremony, and the mission is called Till Death Do Us Part. It is a specific line in Christian liturgy which is served when a wedding ceremony is set up. Generally, a priest asks both groom and bride whether they will love each other till death do them part, which implies a very strong and honest relationship between the couple. And it's quite amusing how Agent 47 is asked to eliminate the groom at his wedding. Well, death did them part after all. In the next two missions, Agent 47 visits Las Vegas to complete his objectives. Both of the mission names work as some sort of idioms. A house of cards is an idiom which represents something which is very unstable, risky, or fragile. And the mission A Dance with the Devil also works as an idiom, which means to do something explicitly immoral. But also in context of Blood Money, the mission presents two types of clubs, Hell and Heaven, so it also works as a reference to the events of the mission itself. The last official contract in Blood Money takes place in the White House, and the mission is called Amendment 25. The 25th Amendment to the United States Constitution explicitly states that the Vice President takes over, should the President die in the office. In context of Blood Money, Vice President of the United States Daniel Morris plans to eliminate the President, and Agent 47 is asked to prevent the assassination. The very last mission in Blood Money is called Requiem. Requiem is a Christian ceremony which is served for the repose of the souls of the dead. Blood Money plays with this terminology by tricking player into thinking that Agent 47 is dead, but in reality, we all know how it ended. As for Hitman Absolution mission names, I can only mention Death Factory mission, which references a horror film with the same name, and probably Fight Night, which references UFC's Fight Night competition. A couple of missions in Hitman 2016 also have interesting names, which I think can be explored in a wider manner. The Paris mission Showstopper refers to Viktor Novikov himself and his fashion show. Generally, Showstopper is used for such performances or songs which received a prolonged applause by the audience. But again, we, as a player, can take this name quite literally and be responsible for stopping the show. The Gilded Cage, which takes place in Marrakesh, has a nice reason to be called that way, since one of your targets, Claus, is being held at his country's consulate, being responsible for stealing over $7 billion. Saying that person lives in Gilded Cage means that he might be very wealthy, but he lacks freedom. Another mission which takes place in Morocco is called A House Built on Sand. The first time this idiom was used was in Matthew's Gospel from the New Testament. It describes human life as it was built under two situations. According to Jesus' commandments, it makes human soul as strong as house built on rock, meaning that nothing can break it down, and a house built on sand comes here as the opposite. It's fragile and easy to demolish. Mission Club 27, which takes place in Bangkok, references a belief that an unusual amount of famous musicians have died at the age of 27, either as a result of alcohol or drug abuse, or suicide or homicide. In this mission, Agent 47 is asked to eliminate a singer Jordan Cross, who has his 27th birthday.
Look, I mean, sorry, I think you...
A cold autumn mission in Colorado is called Freedom Fighters. It's one of those situations where IO Interactive remembers other projects made by their studio, and 2003's shooter game Freedom Fighters is one of these examples. One of the most beloved locations in Hitman 2016, Sapienza, also has an interesting mission name, called Landslide. In this mission, Agent 47 is asked to eliminate Marco Abbiati, a wealthy politician who is running for mayor. In this regard, a landslide means that a particular party or candidate has an overwhelming majority of votes in his election. It's pretty self-explanatory, but still has its own fun element to it. The last mission takes place in Hokkaido, and it's called Situs Inversus. It's a medical term which originates from Latin language. Situs Inversus has two forms. It can be called Situs Inversus Viscerum to describe the inverted position of chest and abdominal organs, and it also can be called Situs Inversus Totalis, when there is total transposition of abdominal and thoracic viscera. In case of Hitman 2016, Eric Soders is the exact patient who has Situs Inversus. So this sums up all references IO Interactive has put in their mission names. I really enjoy how sometimes developers can cleverly add some creativity in such simple things, and I hope that I shed some light at origins of these names. So what do you think of it? Do you find them interesting and clever? Share your thoughts and ideas in the comments. And I'll see you in the next episode of Hitman Insight.